Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TRS Live with your hosts Brian Keller, Matt Trotz, and Zach Hoffman, presented by The Real Shot.
I'ma do this here forever.
EQ.
Forever.
Triune.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I'ma do this here forever.
Let's go.
All you haters better get comfy. This the day you've been waiting on. Y'all road is finna get bumpy.
Yes.
This the track I'm making my statement on. I ain't going nowhere. This the place that I'm making home. I'll do this shit forever. Hit the gas and I'm taking off. Ow. I was born with passion. My job is never ending and my hustle's everlasting. No matter what, I'm gon' ball, even with my back to the wall. And the best part is that this is the beginning. I'ma do this here forever. Forever.
I've never filled out a form before.
The government's going to track you.
I'm a little apprehensive about telling them all my information.
Right?
Do you have aliases?
Yeah. Well,
What are you buying?
I'm buying a Winchester shotgun
For a turkey?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, anyways,
Nice.
our conversations. We're here, TRS Live.
I'm all jacked up. The Brewers
TRS
won.
Outdoors.
Yeah.
The Brewers won their home opener.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's
Against the Cardinals.
yes.
Better yet.
See, people don't understand that baseball is like it's this really super long season, right?
Yeah.
Every year it comes down to September, right? And it's like they're a game back, they're a game ahead, whatever. And everybody discredits the beginning of the season.
Right.
Yeah. Every game counts.
Every game counts, and now we're going to get into that late stretch, and the Cardinals will be there because they always are, and hopefully the Brewers are still there, right? Obviously, I'm a Brewer junkie. And all of a sudden that game, now that you were back or ahead,
Yep.
that was opening day.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
it counts. It's a big deal.
That's
It was awesome. And the way it went down, if you didn't get to watch it, Lorenzo Cain, bottom of the ninth, goes up, robs a home run.
Really?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
They had
to win the game.
It was a two-run
Yeah.
shot, right? It was
I
a three-run shot?
I didn't see it, but I
Okay,
believe
it
Were
was
they,
a-
were they down? Like
they were up
obviously
5-4.
Oh.
Guy hit one opposite field, left center, or right center, excuse me, and Kane goes up and robs it to win the game. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it was-
So I saw a Facebook post talking about him. There was a joke with it, and it didn't make sense to me at the time. But I don't watch the Brewers, and I know I'm gonna get crap for it.
but
But
you should.
First of all, I can't sit down and watch baseball.
I can't imagine. Well, if you had only one energy drink
I
a
know.
day instead of four,
I know.
you
I-
might be able to do it.
And what it does is it motivates me to want to go outside to do stuff, which is
yeah.
awesome. But like, it's just so hard for me to sit there because it's like watching NASCAR. The only reason I watch NASCAR is for when somebody rubs a little too
Right.
close and puts
Yep.
them in the wall. And
Yeah, the best part of NASCAR is the last 3 laps.
exactly.
sure.
I sleep
And-
through the whole part
yeah.
of it, and then the last 3
And you
laps.
can miss some
You know.
stuffs in between 9 innings, but
Right.
I'd 100% rather play baseball than freaking watch baseball.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But and I feel bad.
But I
for-
do, it's-
I'm a Brewer fan, but I'm not a diehard like most. Because every year I feel like the hardcore Brewer fans, not for the most part, they always got let down.
well, not last year we did.
Not last year. Well, hopefully
And
things
they
are changing.
picked up.
Yeah.
They picked up right where they left off last year.
That's great.
Seems
Now,
like
if we can play like that for the whole season and then
Right.
elevate,
it. Right.
that's what you need to be able to do.
It
Yep.
makes me
Can
excited.
they do it? Who knows? But they've got a better roster than they've ever had ever. Pitching rotations off the charts.
Their
The
new
lineups off the
ownership,
charts.
new management, right?
Yep.
Younger generations.
Well, Craig Counsell's a manager, and he's
Right.
he's
Yeah.
a homebred Milwaukee kid,
Mhm.
right? Grew up
Yeah.
in the Brewers
I
organization.
remember watching him play.
and just loves Milwaukee, and I think he really wants to see Milwaukee win. Like,
Sure.
that's his life goal.
Sure.
I honestly believe this, and I could be totally whacked because money talks usually in professional sports.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly believe if he got some monster contract to go some bigger team wherever, I think
He'd
he might
stay
turn
here.
it down.
Yeah.
I think he would. I could
for
be
him.
totally whacked, but I
Sure.
just think he would because
Right.
he made a ton of money playing. It wasn't like he was
Right.
a
right.
Right.
bench sitter or whatever.
Well,
Right?
yeah,
I just
'cause
don't know
he
if he
played
needs
for
it.
like 4 or 5 different teams towards the end of his
won
career.
Super Bowls, was an AL MVP. I mean, a
You won a
series
Super Bowl
MVP.
as
Sorry,
a
World Series. My bad. I haven't finished
a
this whole
two-sport
coffee.
athlete.
I haven't finished this
Yeah.
whole coffee yet.
But
Wow.
no, my point is what the management, the ownership question is that the fact is Wisconsin sports are we've been good, we've been bad, but the younger generation is having some say, and now they're making more ballsy maneuvers, right?
I would agree.
They're going to get, you look
you've
at the
seen that
Bucks.
I was gonna say you've seen that with the Packers this year too.
Yeah,
They've
you see that
actually
with the Packers.
picked up
Interesting.
some free agencies. Like, what's
Yeah.
free agency, right? The
Yep.
Packer fan
Right.
doesn't even know what free agency is.
Well, and
Packers will be very interesting this
Yeah.
year.
in the Milwaukee Bucks, my dad and I used to kid around all the time and say, hey, they're going to be great until they get traded. They'll get traded to somebody that, and then they're going to really shine. It's like a farm team for us. The Bucks were always, but now you look at now. I mean, they're contenders in the NBA right now.
The Greek freak, he's like
Yeah.
come on and said like I want to play Milwaukee.
Yep.
Now, whether or not that's a real
Right.
thing. I mean,
Until somebody offers him.
you've heard other guys
Right.
say the
Sure.
same thing,
But at least I think for the Bucks, for example, the Bucks will actually go fight for him. And now
Maybe.
instead of being like, hey, we can't pay you,
Well,
good luck.
I think
Right.
they have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it's either that or you don't have
yeah.
a team,
But
right? I mean,
it
it's
just
amazing.
comes down to the younger guys now are in office instead of the old stag.
Could be.
You could say
Yeah.
politicians are the same way. We get some young blood in there, we rock it up a little bit, change
Yeah.
it up a little bit. So
Term limits.
term limits, yeah, it should be.
whole nother show.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Let's not go there.
Show.
he basically what Brantner's saying is he wants to come back with Beamer and he wants to just have that rig. But anyway, so we have our guest. Nick Brantner's here from North Country Marketing. You rep a ton of products for us here at the Real Shot.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. North Country Marketing is a rep agency that I'm very proud to be a member of.
Yep.
Not only do we rep for Browning and Winchester Firearms, we rep Vortex Optics, we rep GSM, which you had Keith on the other day. There's no way I can even hold a candle to that man. The guy's incredible.
He's high energy. He's seen a bunch of stuff.
He's been around the world and back.
Yep.
Yeah, and done it, and it's incredible what he's done. We also do Humerex air rifles and Manzella gloves and just a ton of different companies.
Like we were talking about the Walker's game. Here's
Yep.
the other. What's the Is it just a straight up GSM product that you guys sell, where it's like a camera you put down by your target?
Yeah, so that's part of SME.
Oh, SM,
which
okay.
which is a division of
Yep.
GSM. So
Yep.
a lot of symbols and
I was gonna say, I
initials.
can't
Do you
even
see
keep
that
straight
thing?
anymore.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? It's
Yeah.
it's a camera that you put down on your target, facing your target, and then you have a monitor up back by you,
Yep.
and you can physically see where you're hitting. And I think there's new
Oh.
programs now where like you can label the bullet holes
Yep.
on that screen.
Yep, you're absolutely
1, 2,
right.
3,
So you
4,
don't have to
5.
walk down.
Don't have
Right.
to walk down.
That's
yeah.
what people need. Another
Yeah.
reason not to walk.
So the thing is, there's a 300-yard model.
Oh, that would
okay,
be nice.
And a mile model. So for somebody shooting true long range
Yeah, that
distance,
would be nice.
where you're
Right.
not having to hoof it all the way down to
Right.
the target, you can see it. You can connect it to your phone, to your
Oh,
laptop.
yeah, that's
all
awesome.
that right there.
But
so,
that's where it
pretty
starts
cool.
at 300.
well, no,
out to 300.
out to 300 yards
Oh,
is the
nice.
one model.
Yeah.
Okay, and then out to a mile
That
is the
makes
other
sense.
model.
Yeah, I can see that if you're not the guy shooting 100.
Right.
Please
Right.
walk.
Yeah. Or use a
Good
vortex,
for ya.
use
Yeah.
a vortex
Or-
spotting scope.
Yes, yes, it's good for you.
Or run.
Right.
right? It's
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
Walk down
But,
the target.
uh,
No, but I can
but-
see if you're shooting 300 to a mile. I mean, that's a.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a mile targeting a 2 mile round trip?
Sure.
Just to go check your target.
Well, and the other thing too, at that point, it just turns the whole patterning, process into a longer activity. Just because
Right.
now stop, run down,
right.
know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it is pretty cool. I mean,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Especially with kids. That
it's
would be
neat
awesome.
how technology is evolving this industry,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been in this industry since, and I thought about this morning, since 1988 is when I got my start, and I've worked for.
So every time
know.
somebody talks about like how long they've been in the industry, we go back
Yeah.
to ages.
I was 8.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah. I was. Well, yeah, that's 5. I was 5. But then we look at this guy back
Yeah,
here.
Zach wasn't even born yet.
I was -6.
That's what I mean. It used to
yeah.
be for me that same way. You're like,
Sure.
holy man, how old were you?
Right.
But now we
Yeah.
look at Zach, you're like, yeah, you're just a little twinkle, buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't even a thought.
Not even.
Yeah,
yeah.
we're getting old, man.
But no, so-
33 years of doing.
yeah,
That's
31,
awesome.
31 years.
Oh,
yep.
30. Okay. yeah.
And I've worked for
That's why you're on the show, Matt. You're not so good at math.
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
That's
I've
why
worked
you're-
for
That's why you're out here now.
for independent sports shops like this,
Yep.
family-owned operations. I owned my own archery and gun shop for 10 years.
Wow.
In the Wausau area. Worked for Gander Mountain for a stint. And
We're
now,
sorry.
Yeah, I tell you what,
No,
though,
I'm
honestly,
just
it was a good learning experience
Oh,
because
yep.
I got to understand how the big box
Yes.
operations work in comparison to a family-owned business.
Yep.
Like I say, had my wife and I ran an archery and gun shop for 10 years, and now I'm on the other end of the spectrum as a manufacturer's sales rep, and it's awesome. I'm kind of going full circle.
Yep.
And so I pinch myself every day. I'm so thankful to be a member of North Country Marketing. And
How many states do you have?
well, I personally just cover northeastern Wisconsin.
Okay.
That's the one nice thing about our rep group is we're not a rep agency where you have one rep in an individual state. I've got friends in the industry that one of my friends covers 6 states.
Man, I couldn't imagine.
That's a beatdown.
Oh my God! How do you
That's a beatdown.
How do you cover that and
Right.
and again juggle all those balls up in the air trying to make all your customers happy? It just doesn't work very well.
Well, and I think as a testament to what you're talking about, like I joke with Nick once in a while about it. Do you actually work here?
Yeah, because
You're here all the time.
Yeah.
But then
Well,
what
you were just
happened if
here
you
last
covered
week.
6
Sure.
states?
Right,
I'd never
I
see
couldn't.
you.
You're right.
Oh,
You'd
yeah.
see me once a year.
Right.
And it's so with our philosophy with our rep group is that we want to have a more hands-on, intimate type relationship with our customer base, and my dealers call me early in the morning, late at night, on weekends, and I answer my phone. I've answered my phone. I'll be in a tree stand. One year I was out in Wyoming deer hunting, and I just gotten in the stand, and my phone rings. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I can talk to him. So I'm whispering. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just got in the stand, and this was September 1st. He's like, it's September 1st. Where are you in the stand? I said, I'm out in Wyoming. He's like, what are you doing?
Right.
Call me when you get back.
Yeah,
And I said,
right.
no, I can take care of you now. So
and that is the truth, though. I mean,
yeah.
I've talked to Nick
Yeah.
outside of work hours, and he's always there for
yeah,
you.
Yeah, and that's just the way that I've been brought up, and you take care of your customer, whether it's a retail customer
Yep.
or a wholesale customer, my dealer base, whatever.
Yep.
So. But like I said, we're extremely fortunate. We have great lines with Browning and Winchester and Vortex. We're going to talk about today. Like I said, I'm truly blessed.
Yep.
So
And so with us opening up the gun counter now,
Yeah.
is this week 2 already?
It is.
This is week 2.
yeah.
This is week 2.
That's-
It just seems like it's so natural now. Yeah. How many
Yeah.
yards away am I?
It doesn't work. You're too.
I know. Usually they don't read under 12 yards.
No,
Yeah.
this would be what Keith was talking about, where the pin
Is
and the drop.
difference.
Yeah,
Oh.
it isn't working here.
But it just seems like we've carried firearms for a lot longer now. It's just such a
well,
natural
I think
fit
internally
here.
we've been talking about it for
Right.
a year.
Exactly.
Right, we
Yeah.
We made the decision to do it almost a year ago now.
Yep.
Yep.
It's been 6 months since Steve's been on, and we've been working
Yep.
with Nick and
Yep.
building the assortment. And
Right.
I mean, it's a huge undertaking to bring in.
Oh yeah, and it's going to be a work in progress.
Right.
You guys at this point, any new dealer cannot. They don't know what to bring in, right? Because every market's different.
Right.
Okay. And you have to decide, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a hunting shop? Do you want to be a tactical shop? Do you want to be a shop that does it all?
Yep.
And it's something
And
that.
of course, we went with the all approach.
Well, of course, yeah.
Because
yeah.
why else?
If you're
what
gonna go,
else
you might
would
as
we
well go
do?
big.
We're all in, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here we
So,
go.
Yep.
Well, you know what was going to happen if we didn't, right?
Mhm.
The hunting guy is going to come in. Oh, this is great. The AR guy is going to come in and go, well, where's the black stuff? I want
Right.
this is
Exactly.
crap. Or vice versa. If you
Right.
want to go, the hunting guys. So.
Yeah. So
Do it
so
all.
you guys are doing a great job in addressing it, but I'm sure you're going to see things change as you mature and as your customer base comes in and says, hey, I want this and that. The beauty part about what you're doing, and again, I'll go back to my history, is not only do you buy direct on product, but you also have opportunities to buy through distribution. You can get through in a lot quicker fashion. So a customer can come into your store and say, hey, I want one of those, and maybe they can't get it from me direct because we just haven't made them for 6 months.
Right.
You can go through distribution opportunities.
Yeah, we've
and-
always done
and
a
that.
lot in special orders.
Absolutely.
And it's always
Yeah.
been it's not I don't want to say it's a focus, but it's definitely something we want to make sure we can, like
Right.
you said, make the customer happy, get what they need.
Absolutely.
If they want a special caliber, or they want a special scope, or a special piece of glass that we don't stock typically because they're heading out west or something,
Sure.
we definitely get it for them.
Yeah. Well, that's the one cool thing about, say, Vortex, for example. Maybe a customer comes in and asks for something that you guys don't stock.
Right.
And let's say it's a $3,000 razor, And it's just like, wow, we're not going to bring that in. And all he wants to do is look at it. Well, Vortex will allow you as a dealer to bring that product in, let that customer look at it, and if for some reason they just decide they don't want to buy it, you as a dealer can send it back.
Nice.
I didn't even know that.
I was going to say, does Mark know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Maybe
Right,
I'll remind him of that.
Well, that's impressive.
But
I mean,
so it's one of those things that Vortex is such a not only a dealer-friendly company, but a consumer-friendly company. They will never leave a dealer or a customer hanging.
No.
I mean, it's just something. Their VIP warranty is out of this world. I mean, there isn't a company in this world that does what they do.
Well, it's a Wisconsin-based company.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they, like an hour and a half from the Fox Valley?
Yeah, well, they used to be in Middleton.
Yep.
They just recently moved down to Barneveld. They built a new facility there in Barneveld, and it is state-of-the-art.
Wow.
It's incredible. But, yeah, they're a family-owned, veteran-owned company. You go to the office, and Dan Hamilton, the owner, is there every day.
Wow.
It's just an incredible company to be a part of.
That would be something cool, is to go tour that place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're working on that. We're working on getting a dealer tour so that we can get you guys down there to go through it and would be a great.
That would be fantastic.
It would. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So.
Well, Nick,
anyway.
So you are also telling me earlier before we went live is that Browning is having a rebate that starts rather soon?
Browning's doing a tax rebate. So every year about this time of year, we have some type of a rebate where consumers, when they purchase a firearm, they will get a rebate of something. This year, it happens to be it's on all Browning firearms. It's an 8% rebate. Unfortunately, I didn't get it emailed
we'll
to
get
you.
It up there.
Yeah, but so 8% rebate on anything from April 1st to April 15th, and it's on obviously Browning firearms.
Yep.
And that, so there are no restrictions. Sometimes there's specific guns have a $25 rebate, others will have a $50 and so forth. This is across the board. The nice thing about it is the consumer, when they buy the gun at the Real Shot, they can just go right to the Browning website, fill in the serial number, their address, scan in a receipt, boom, away it goes.
Oh, that's nice. No more having to send a receipt in and anything like that.
Yeah.
So we'll have these flyers. Is this something that we can put on like the website?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Again, it starts on April 1st.
I mean, we don't sell guns through the website yet,
Right.
but at least they could click on it through Facebook and know that we're offering this right now. Well, I mean, any Browning dealer is, but we're gonna definitely go through with it as well.
Yep,
So
you bet.
So we got a couple of guns laying in front of us. You know,
Yeah.
I like to talk, excuse me, on the turkey aspect of it all. But I mean, with Browning and Winchester, there's so many different firearms.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If a guy like myself, obviously we got the knowledgeable staff with Mark and Steve. I mean, is there any input like? What should somebody be researching outside of the Real Shop before they buy a gun here? And then, what are some really good questions to ask when you're in it from any kind of gun? So let's say you're making your first rifle purchase. Is there any good suggestions for somebody that, the knowledge they should research to make the process a lot easier?
Well, like anything, you have to, from the customer side to everything, you have to, qualify what you're looking for.
Yep.
So let's talk about a rifle, for example. There are so many different calibers that are available, and they're constantly adding new calibers. You have to look at, what you're looking to do. Are you hunting in the potato fields of central Wisconsin? If that's the case, well, maybe you want something that's a long and flat shooting caliber, maybe a 6.5 Creedmoor, versus hunting up in the northwoods of Vilas County in northern Wisconsin. There you might look at something in a 30-06 or 270 or, a little bit heavier, not so much flat shooting. So you have to kind of go through and I try to educate my sales staff the same way. You have to qualify that customer, find out what they're doing, what they're looking for, and then you can start to make recommendations from there. Now, in the Browning line, on the rifle side, we do the X-Bolt, we do the AB3, and then there's just all different types of variations of that.
Okay.
Some can be very high-end as far as cost, and others are not so much.
So that brings me to like my next question. We know here in the hunting industry, the fishing industry, the archery industry that the more you spend is usually the better quality. for the most part,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean, so
You get what you pay for.
you get what
Yeah,
you pay for.
right.
Typically, that's all.
sure.
It's
a life thing.
unfortunate, but it's also the truth. I mean, you find
Yep.
that with most things. But so, like, as you work through the pricing of some items, you know, a gun for, let's just say, $500 versus a gun that's $1,500.
Sure.
How is that product changing throughout that wave?
So a lot of times you're gonna, like in the Browning line, you know, we have pictured here our Hell's Canyon, one of our most popular selling rifles right now.
Yep.
You know, this
I
rifle
love
is
the camo on
Yeah,
that.
this
Yeah.
thing is wicked awesome.
yeah,
I don't
it's
know if
our
I'll
our
hold it.
Atex camo. The one thing that we do with this gun, it's got a fluted barrel, so it added reduced weight. It has a muzzle brake on it, so again, you can reduce the recoil.
Try to point it at
Yeah.
anybody.
But the one thing they do too is they put Cerakote finish. That's that burnt bronze finish. They put that on the barreled action. Basically makes it weatherproof. Okay, so if you're going to Alaska or Canada for a moose or elk
Right.
or something like that, where you know you're going to be in inclement weather, something like that with a Cerakoted barrel is just going to make it so you don't have to keep oiling it every day. And that you still want to take care of your equipment, but that has been extremely popular. They don't last long in the shelves. You know, like the 6.5 Creedmoor is probably the most popular caliber right now.
What is this one here? 270.
Is that a 270?
It's on this side, I think.
Yes, this is a 270.
Okay,
Yep.
and you know, again, we're in Wisconsin, so 270 and 30-06 are very popular sellers as well. But that's just packed full of features. You know, all the X bolts have a 60-degree bolt throw. The one thing I like about it too is that the safety mechanism. So this has a safety override button, where in order to safely unload this, I don't have to take it off of safe. Okay, I can push the button down, lift the action, and drop it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. So years
really
ago,
nice.
and there's other companies out there that you have to take the safety off. So
Yep.
so if I do that, let's say that I got a live round in here, and now I got to take the safety off. Well, there's an opportunity there.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's not a good opportunity.
No, not a good one at all.
But you know, then I open it up. But with Browning on the X bolt and the AB3, we have built in a safety override mechanism.
That's cool.
That's
so
really
that
cool.
You just push it, and now you can safely open it. The other thing too that we have is it's a 60-degree bolt throw, so that bolt only comes up 60 degrees. Okay.
Not getting in the way of your skull.
It doesn't get in the way of the scope, and plus it's also a little quicker,
Okay, yep.
you know, to cycle around. So, so those are just some of the features that we do in the X bolt and the AB3.
Well, and this gun here has it's called the DuraTouch.
DuraTouch,
finish
yep,
to it.
DuraTouch finish, yep. So that's cool. You know, so that just gives you a little extra tacky feel in the field. You know, we've taken some of that same, you know, Cerakote technology, and we've carried it over into our shotgun line. In the Wicked Wing line. So for the guy who is the hardcore waterfall guy, the Wicked Wing series, that happens to be a Maxis, is incredible. I mean, you can take that in the mud and the junk and whatever.
And this has all the Cerakote on it as well, right?
Yep. So that's that same burnt bronze, barreled action, and it's basically impervious to weather.
What's that lever on the back of that right
So
there?
that's a magazine cutoff. Okay, so let's say that you were you're in the duck blind.
Yep.
Okay, you're duck hunting. It's goose season also,
Right here.
and you've got duck loads. Okay. And
Did I hit it?
with that, you can take and basically it cuts off the feed for what's coming down.
Okay.
With that, so I flip that here. So now I'm going to take out that duck load, because here comes
Throw
some
a
geese.
turkey- throw a goose load in
I'm
there?
going to drop in a goose load, and then I flip that, and away I go.
Awesome.
Okay, so now I just switched out my duck load to a goose load.
That's really awesome.
So yeah, it's a cool feature. So
Very awesome.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before. That's
Yep.
pretty cool.
yep. So, but this is part of the Maxis line.
And you know, that's a feature that you know, you don't think about it. I used to do a lot of duck and goose hunting when I was younger.
Mhm.
And I remember specifically in that panic state trying to
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
get the last load
Sure.
out, try to get a
Right.
new one in there
Sure.
type of deal, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you know, those are just some innovations that Browning has offered in their Maxis line, and you know, we do a number of different shotguns, of course, and the semi-auto and the pump, and with the BPS and that. So really, and kind of going back to your question, Matt, as a salesperson, I want all of my dealer salespeople to qualify that customer, ask lots of questions, because I know that consumer has been sitting at home in their underwear doing all this research. They have a pretty good idea
for sure.
of what they're looking for.
Yep.
They just need vindication from you, the salesperson.
And it really is.
To either ensure they're thinking, and I was on the right track, or that's a good point. So.
Well, and like as the show opened, we were speaking about it. I'm purchasing my first gun, and I'm relying on Mark and Steve's input. Most of the gun I'm purchasing is a Winchester. It's going to be used for turkey and just random shooting for obviously a 12 gauge. But I'm asking these guys up there yesterday. I'm like, what choke would you recommend? What sight option would you recommend? Sure. Because mostly for that gun, it's going to be used for killing turkeys. But I'll pull it out in the wintertime and I'll go rabbit hunting with it. But you're exactly right. I mean, I work in this industry, but I still didn't have the slightest clue on which one's the best one. And I feel like with those guys' help, I'm making a real good decision on it.
And the SXP is a very good all-around universal shotgun. And with the all the new guns today, of course, all have interchangeable chokes. So you can take that choke out and you can change from a turkey choke, because you're going to go turkey hunting, to a waterfall choke.
Well, I think that gun comes with at least 3 different chokes.
Most of them will come with 3 chokes, full modified, improved. But there's specialty chokes, and we were kind of talking about that with the quality of the ammunition that's now out there, especially in the turkey end of it. Every gun will pattern differently. And as we were talking earlier, one of the biggest mistakes that people make is that they buy a shotgun and they buy whatever ammo's on sale and I'm going hunting. And they never pattern it. They never change the choke to see how that affects the pattern. You wouldn't buy a deer rifle and a Vortex scope and just throw it together and go out to the woods. You got to sight it in.
You shouldn't.
Well, they do the day before season.
From the stories I've heard from Mark and Steve, and it happens.
You shouldn't do that.
But it's something. Advised. Same thing with a shotgun is you need to pattern that to find out how this specific gun patterns that specific load. And again, whether you're turkey hunting, and I say most, a lot of the turkey hunters have been educated that you do need to pattern it to figure it out. A lot of the waterfall guys don't, though. And I'm not ripping on waterfall guys. It's just that they grab it and that's a 5-shot. I'm going duck hunting, and away they go. And the hardcore guys will pattern it. They'll take that, take a sheet of cardboard and put it out at 30 yards and see how consistent that pattern is throughout. And that's very important.
Yeah, because like when Mark and I were talking, I shoot the Longbeard XR from Winchester, and I've killed plenty of turkeys with it, but that was with the past gun. With this new one now, even though that's my ammo of choice, it may not fire amazingly out of that gun.
I was going to ask, so as from a patterning standpoint, if you shoot that round, take a couple shots, right? If it's not the way you want it, what are the fixes? Is it just to go to a different ammunition?
So there's a couple different things. You may have to change the choke. Okay, you may have to go to a more open choke or a tighter choke. Depending on the gun, you may have to put what they call shims. Maybe the gun doesn't fit you exactly right. Maybe that pattern shoots high or low or to the right or left. Like take our Maxes, for example, our Browning Maxes. It comes with a shim kit so that you can actually shim the stock. It's in a neutral setting when it comes from the factory, but there's a shim kit that goes right here that will allow to, with these different layers of plastic. It allows you to shim that to basically fit it.
How do you do that then?
So you got to take the recoil pad comes off, and then you can take there's a bolt that goes through, so you can take the stock off, change that shim, and that it's a process.
I didn't even.
But once
I was gonna say I'm learning because I didn't really know.
Once you do it though, it's a done deal. So that's one way to do it. The other thing would be to change loads. Okay. So maybe this gun doesn't like that Winchester, blah blah blah, whatever. So now you maybe try a different brand, a different type of or a different shot size. I'm all about pellet count when it comes to turkey hunting. All it takes is that one golden BB, And I don't know if Keith talked about that, but I mean, you're shooting at a target basically when you're shooting at the head, it's about the size of your fist.
Yep.
30, 40 yards or whatever. That's a pretty small target, especially then they're doing this.
Yeah. Never stop for turkeys.
No. But all it takes is one BB in the cranium to kill a turkey. So I always call it the golden BB theory.
Yeah.
The more BBs you have, the better your odds are.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I like personally, I like to shoot a smaller BB that I can pack more into the shell. So 6-shot or something like that.
Yeah, Mark was saying like he recommends a 5-shot.
5s are very popular.
Five shot, and then as much bullet as you can handle. Then
Yep. Right.
Throw some 3.5s in that thing.
If you can, you bet. Let it rock.
Shoot, I had a question. And
I've been fortunate enough to
this is so much I'm learning right now.
I never thought about patterning
how
for
do you
like
get
ducks
this?
even. To be honest,
Sure.
I duck hunted a lot. I never patterned for ducks.
No.
See?
No.
I never did.
Right.
And I'm guilty. I turkey hunt obviously, but I pattern for what I'm shooting, and normally there's not a whole lot I have to do with it.
Right.
But well, what I was gonna say is these companies should work together and make like sample ammos where there's multiple different shot
You're right.
in a pack.
Yep.
So now I'm not buying, because if that bullet doesn't work, what the heck are you going to do with it then?
Exactly. Yeah, you use them for crow hunting.
I was gonna say you can't return them.
Yeah, you can't return them. And it's
I've got a whole box of different mixes of ammo at home that are they're just ones that didn't pattern out of a specific shotgun. Now, I've been fortunate to have multiple different guns, so I kind of keep that as a pack and I try them.
Yep.
But it's just one of those things. Otherwise, like you say, they work good for shooting crows and stuff like that.
Well, could you
when they're about to do damage, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Now, but adding a optics to that gun, is that going to help that pattern issue? Like if you're just, let's say we're turkey hunting or we're pheasant hunting, we're going off the front bead. Typically, most of these shotguns are going to come with a fiber front bead or just a brass front bead.
Yeah.
If you add a rear to that, can you pattern that gun?
You can
better?
change the point of impact.
Yep.
Okay, but you can't change the consistency of the pattern.
Okay. Oh, you're talking over. Okay.
The whole consistency of where those BBs are in relationship to the pattern.
Yep.
Sometimes when you have what they call a blown pattern, you might have, so let's say your pattern is pretty consistent. It's, so big at 30 yards or whatever, but there's holes in it. Okay. Where, again, that turkey's head could get through. Maybe that's where, like when I pattern a shotgun, I'll look at my target and then I count the number of BBs that are in that spot that I was aiming at. Okay, whether again it's a turkey's head or whatever, and if you, let's say you're at 30 yards and you don't have, maybe you've only got 7 or 8 BBs in that target. I want something that's more dense. Okay. And that. So
this could be a real good video segment with getting like Marker Steve at the range and just doing this. Cause
I'm learning a lot just listening because I've never really.
I mean, my thought process is like, okay, this is the turkey's head. You count. Yeah, I think the golden number was always like 10 to 12 BBs in the head area, and then whatever else through the neck and stuff. But it didn't make it. Now I never thought of like, okay, now might say the pattern's always over here. You can bring that over with the rear, but it may not do exactly what you want.
Right.
Huh.
So yeah, it is important to for people to do that. And once you get a load figured out for your gun, you're pretty much done.
Right.
I mean, it's not like you have to do it every single year. Now, if anything changes in that makeup, maybe you bought 5-shot this year and the real shot was out of 5-shot and God, I need some ammo. Well, you bought 4-shot.
Right.
You better pattern it because
I was thinking even year to year you might want to. I mean, if you're shooting out of the same box even, but that's got to be
sometimes a lot change.
Just between boxes could be different.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking is so like patterning a gun is almost like the spine consistency of an arrow.
Yes.
I mean the way the flexes and everything
Absolutely.
like that, and then are they graded? Like, is a box that's more expensive? Like everybody's talking about the TSSs right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a more hand-selected box of ammo, or
I can't?
If I buy 5 or 4 are gonna fly perfect and 1 flies like crap. I mean, you're not gonna know that all the time.
And I can't speak for that. I'm not familiar enough with that new stuff coming out to.
But I just didn't know how. I mean, everybody. That's why there's a lot of guys that hand load, I guess, their ammunition so they can make sure
they're in control of what it is.
Right. They're very
the T,
precise.
but
yeah.
Yeah, the gun world for I think Brian and I both is we've both played with them, but not to the in depth
No,
like
nothing
you
like-
and Mark and Steve have.
Oh, I've had conversations with Steve about guns, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What
yeah.
are you talking about?
I
right
just
now?
don't pick this thing up and
Like,
pull the trigger.
I just go
Right.
pull the trigger, goes boom. Like what?
Yeah,
Like I've learned
Yeah,
I've learned
that-
so
sure.
much in the last 6 months
Oh,
since
yeah.
we've gotten into this about guns.
Yeah.
I mean, because the whole thing started where I had an issue with the muzzleloader and I couldn't find anybody to help me fix it.
Yeah,
That's why the real shot ended up finally getting guns. I
Okay.
said, okay, enough's enough.
that's it. Yeah.
Right.
I've had
Yeah.
it. I went to every area place.
Sure.
Not a single person can help me fix this issue with my muzzleloader.
Yep.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm
what
gonna
was your
fix it
issue
now.
you were having?
I couldn't get the thing sighted in to save my life.
Okay.
But I talked to people.
Yep.
You know, dirty barrel, clean barrel, this load, that load, all these different questions, but nobody
Sure.
had any real information.
Yep.
And then I sat down with Steve, and he's like, "We'll get it fixed."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
And did you?
not yet.
No,
no,
not
but
yet.
we
yeah.
will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Supposedly Carl, that's on the staff here,
Mhm.
he's
Yeah,
like
he's
the
sure.
muzzleloader guru.
Yeah. Yeah. And muzzleloaders are a whole other can
Oh,
of worms.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And they can be very, and I don't want to say problematic. They can be very easy
Right.
if you
Mine
have the right.
I'm like
s-
0 for
setup.
2 right now.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, that's a
but-
whole other thing. I'm
yeah.
just saying that's why we got into guns. I'm just learning
Right.
all this, and I've just
Yeah.
learned a ton this morning about
Right.
patterning shotguns that I would have never personally given a lot of credit to.
Sure.
I would have thought, hey, they're all the same.
Yep.
It's
Yep. No, there's when you look at your counter out there and you look at all the brands of ammo that you've got, you look at all
Man,
the
that's
different,
mind-numbing.
it is. And now try
same
to
thing. If you looked at Matt's size, like,
It's
Yeah.
intimidating.
Yeah.
It's really what it
and
is.
try to inventory that.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
we're
it's,
trying. I know it's not.
like you say, it's going to be a work in progress for you.
Yep.
You guys will do a great job, but so it's with every piece of the puzzle, whether it's a shotgun or a rifle, let's say in the rifle, okay. Now you figured out which rifle you want, okay. Well, now you got to put optics on it.
Right.
Now it's another whole discussion.
What a professional segue.
Yeah, isn't that
That
nice?
was so well
I
done.
practiced that this morning.
That was
I practiced
so
that.
well done.
No.
That was so well done.
But when you think about it, now you've got to go and research that part of it too. And there's so many different good products out there, from many brand names. Like you say, we're fortunate. I rep for Vortex, and the cool thing about Vortex is they're a company that addresses every level of shooter, from the absolute beginner. Okay, guy just starting out, maybe he's just a recreational deer hunter. He hunts 2 days of the year.
Yep.
All the way to the professional, long range target shooter,
Right.
and everywhere in between. Okay, I mean we have scopes that are $100. We have scopes that are $3,000, and all and the Real Shot has access to all of them.
Man, a $3,000 scope. I'm like, what's the purpose of that?
It's all about glass quality,
Oh, right.
and for the long range shooter, I mean it's all about precision and the precision of the turrets and all that. Now, the typical Wisconsin deer hunter, again the weekend warrior,
Yep.
not calling anybody anything negative.
No.
They don't need all that.
Right.
They need a scope that's going to stay true. It's
Yep.
going to stay on their impact once they sight it in.
Yep.
And be clear and crisp and all that. So
I was gonna say the other thing I think you get, and correct me if I'm wrong, with the better glass is better low light.
yes,
Right?
for sure.
Right.
Yep.
Because I know when I went, I think I've got the Viper binoculars.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Because again, low light bow hunting,
Right.
really, you just pick up so much more light with those than
Sure.
you do with the same. If you got 8x10s, for instance,
Mhm.
they're so crisp, it's unreal.
Yeah. The one thing with binoculars is it's all about the coatings of the lenses, but also just the configuration of it. When you look at binoculars, there's, again, like everything, there's lots of different offerings out there.
Yep.
You got to look at what you're doing. Now, we're all bow hunters, okay? We're going to use our binoculars more so in low light conditions than we are on a bright sunny day.
Binoculars
You
are
know.
so important to me, bow hunting.
For sure.
Personally,
You bet.
Oh yeah.
if I forget them in the
Yes.
cabin, I will go back and get them.
Yes.
I feel completely
Yep.
lost without binoculars.
And I didn't find that out until I invested in a nice pair of binoculars.
Sure.
I like for the way it was. Obviously, was whatever was cheapest, right?
Yep.
And I'm not to say like these. I think these are like $100 binoculars,
Right.
and they're
Yep.
not that.
Sure.
That they wouldn't do the same quality as the higher end one was.
Yep.
But once I invested in a nice pair of Vortex,
Right.
like you said, I will hardly hunt without them.
I won't.
Right.
I will not.
Right.
I won't gun hunt.
Sure.
I won't bow hunt. I will not go in the woods hunting whitetails without binoculars. I will not do it.
I mean, you see that little flicker, and it's amazing. You pinpoint that, and just another tree or a squirrel or whatever hell it is. But
Sure.
yeah,
See, when
and this time of year too with shed hunting,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can save a lot of steps right
Absolutely.
now by
You
having a good pair of
When
glass with you.
Absolutely. When I shed hunt, I have my binoculars, and I'm using them as much as I am my eyes because I'll get on a trail, and maybe it's going in a different direction that I'm going, and I'll just sit and I'll glass that trail all the way up as far as I can see, and then continue on the direction I'm going. And it just helps you to cover ground. The big thing too, I think, is if you were to ask every major optics retailer in the country, okay, what's the most popular size binocular? They're all going to tell you 10 by 42. Okay, and that is by far.
I thought it would have been the 8x.
That's what I would have guessed. 8
So
by 10.
now the bow hunters, okay, if you ask every bow hunter, not every bow hunter, but the majority of them, 8 by 42 gives you a bigger field of view. It allows more light to be transmitted. It's got a bigger exit pupil. So it allows more light to come in, and it's better in low light conditions.
I'd be honest, I didn't even really know what that number is. Those numbers meant.
Oh, you didn't?
Well, the 8's the magnification.
Right,
The
exactly.
second one, the 42, is the size of the diameter.
of the bell.
Right?
Yep.
Size
right
of it.
on. Yep.
I mean, it's
And the
just
bigger it is, the more light you get in.
In most cases,
Right?
yes, depending on the magnification, though,
Okay.
because magnification, as you increase magnification, you're going to lose light
Okay.
gathering. Okay.
it just
so,
aside that
yeah.
would go to scopes are the same way. Like a 3 is then the 9 or whatever.
You're
See, and
right.
I use the
Yep.
8x42s.
Yeah.
But then again, I live with those on my face while I'm deer
Sure.
hunting.
Right.
Yep.
Any flash of movement at all, I'm like constantly
Right.
because it's whitetails are so finicky, especially bow hunting,
Mhm.
and that's for a guy if he's like, I don't use binoculars bow hunting because I'm only shooting 20 yards.
Yeah.
You got to be ready before the 20 yards, buddy.
Sure. Yeah, you
like,
want to see them coming.
You want to see if
Absolutely.
there's a flash or you want to watch. Like I hunt a couple of cedar swamps,
Yep.
and I could see the legs walking through the swamp
Yep.
way before I can ever see the deer come through.
Sure.
And
Oh, yeah.
you can't tell the size of the deer, but if
Yeah.
it's big old Mr. 5-year-old, he's got a whole different leg structure
Yes.
Sure.
than a doe or a fawn
Right.
Right.
or even a 1-year-old buck. So
So,
huge difference.
and selecting the right binocular, again, it goes down to qualification. What are you doing with it? If you're hunting whitetail in Wisconsin and that's all you're going to do with it, an 8 by 42 is perfect.
Yep.
However, you're going to go out west and maybe you're elk hunting, and you're going to be glassing over a basin where you're going to be looking at elk 2 miles away. You might want something a little bit more powerful. But know that typically as you go up in power and magnification, you're going to get a little bit more bulk to it. Take a 10 by 50 or a 12 by 50, or some of our even larger binoculars, 15 power. They're physically larger. So again, if you take a cross section across the country, 10 by 42 is the number one seller. And I would tell every person out there to pick up a 10 by 42, but also pick up an 8 by 42.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Now my wife's gonna be mad because now I want a pair of 10 bys.
Well, if you're going out west,
I know,
yeah.
right?
So,
I mean, the
yeah.
ones I can't remember what Diamondbacks I think is what I have right now. And
Yep.
they're phenomenal.
See, I use the 10s for gun hunting
Sure.
and the 8s for bow hunting.
Right. Yeah.
I honestly,
Yep.
then there is a difference.
it makes
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Because I've got a couple fields I hunt over for gun season.
Mm-hmm. And
I
that's
got
the
my
10s are nice.
270. I get 200-yard areas.
Yep.
But I want to be able to see 250.
Right.
And
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and so like you say, Vortex has a wide variety of binoculars for all, walks of life, whether you're a bird watcher, a deer hunter, a target shooter where you need a spotting scope that you're just on the bench.
Scouting's huge.
Yep. I mean, if you're out west glassing and you're looking at 2 miles away on mountainsides and whatnot, they have an optic that can cover it for you. A couple of things. Their warranty is out of this world. If I didn't mention that already.
Yeah. The VIP unconditional. I was gonna grab that card, that
Yeah.
VMP card. Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures of binoculars and spotting scopes crushed.
Yep.
Dogs have eaten them.
Yep.
They've burnt up in fires.
Yep.
Left on the back of vehicles and tumbled down
And it's
rock cliffs.
it's all the truth. I mean, so their philosophy is that if something bad happens to it, even though it wasn't Vortex's fault, they will take care of it. They will never leave a customer hanging.
It's so is you don't always get a new pair. If it's something they can fix, they might fix it.
If it's something they can fix, granted, they'll fix it. But
Right.
in most cases, it's so much easier just to say, you know what, here you go, here's a new product, and they just ship a new one. One story that I've heard about is actually I did see this if you go into their offices in Barneville, they've got a display case with all these unbelievable things, right, that have happened. And a guy had a rangefinder, and he was late hunting, a late season bow hunting, dropped it in the snow and couldn't find it. 2 feet of snow,
Yep,
and
for sure.
Just couldn't
Yeah,
find
I
it.
got a cell phone out there. Yeah,
Right.
You'll find it.
So
know.
anyway, the next spring he goes back and finds it, and the mice had chewed every bit of rubber off of it. Thing still worked, but all the rubber coating was gone. So he basically took what was left of it, stuck it in a box, and put a nice letter saying, "Hey, could you please just recoat this for me?" And he sent it into Vortex. Well, obviously they sent him a brand new one. It's covered by their warranty, by their VIP warranty. Another example they have is they've got a spotting scope that a guy was on the shooting bench, and spotting scope was here, and I don't know if it was windy or what happened, but somehow the spotting scope happened to swing in front of the rifle. The guy didn't know it because he's looking through the gun, and anyway, pulls the trigger, runs a 300 short mag round right through the side of the spotting scope.
Oh.
Can you imagine? Blows it right off the table.
That woke him up.
Yeah,
Man.
exactly. And again, they
They
covered
took
that.
care of it for
Took
him.
care of it.
Awesome.
So it's something they will always err on the side of the customer. They'll always take care of the dealer. So
I was going to just attest to how durable they are, just without the warranty part of it, because I've went through so many Nikons and Bushnells. I mean, one year and they're just trash, right?
yeah, and,
I'm
and
already going.
let me stop you right there. Those companies do make good quality
I'm not-
products as well.
I'm just saying.
go ahead.
I'm on my
Yeah.
4th year with these.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I push my stuff
Yeah,
pretty
you're hard on your
And I'm
equipment.
on my
Yeah.
4th year with them, and they're like they're brand new
Yeah,
still.
they're.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're
I'm
very
not, I'm not knocking it. I'm just
Yeah.
saying
No,
it's just
Yeah.
holy cow.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
agree. I've
Yeah.
had mine for a number of years now, and they've performed. And
Yeah.
the same with the rangefinder. I got the rangefinder, and now I've added a couple scopes to the lineups.
Sure.
And
Well, the funny part about Vortex is, and I hear it all the time, is I'll do consumer shows or whatnot, and they'll say, yeah, I just heard of this new company called Vortex. It's like, well, they did start making binoculars in 1986. Okay, they've been making rifle scopes since 2002.
wow.
So
They
they're not a new company.
They
They've
had
been-
one of the larger booths at SHOT show.
Oh, it's their shot
booth
show
was huge.
is
Like
impressive.
you had to walk through it to get around it.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
couldn't.
Very
Basically, it's
impressive.
like they did a rebranding.
That, and they just they got it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. They just yeah.
Well, they realized they had to compete, is what my guess is, because you watch, and where I'm seeing them a lot is I watch a lot of hunting, television shows
Sure.
or internet shows.
Yep.
And now a majority are using the Vortex because before those were all Nikon and Bushnell, like Brian was saying.
Sure.
But I think these people are not only are getting free product maybe, but the Vortex is quality stuff as well. So
Yeah.
it just makes a lot more
Well,
sense.
and I think when you look at the TV personalities, they have to rely on their product to work, right?
day in and day out.
And when your livelihood is on the line of shooting an animal or whatever, you've got to have good quality stuff. Whether you're getting paid for it or not, or
Yep.
they're giving you the product, it doesn't matter. It's still got to work.
Yep.
And so it's something that
Well, and that's
yeah.
what we talked about with Beamer on Wednesday was like that dude hunted what did he say just for turkeys alone? It was
9
almost
states, I thought he said.
50 days almost
Oh,
in
yeah.
the woods.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah.
If he had
Yeah.
subpar equipment, I mean, his life would suck.
Yeah, exactly. Could you imagine?
Oh,
yeah.
I
So,
try to imagine.
yeah,
It's
yeah. So, but yeah, so it's something that, like you say, we're very fortunate, and with Vortex being a Wisconsin-based company, they're close for you guys to get the product to them. Customer service-wise, if a customer ever has a question, they can call down to Barneville. They're going to get somebody with a heartbeat, and they're going to be able to get their
Not some automated.
exactly. Yeah.
We'll put you in a queue and we'll
Right.
talk to you in 25 minutes.
Well, I like
Right.
the fact if you calling them there.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
not calling somebody in another country that
Sure.
doesn't really know
Right.
your issue or really care.
Right. The other thing too is that they have people in the facility they're doing, no matter what you're doing, they've got somebody there that has done it and can help you do it. So maybe you bought this new chassis rifle, right? You want to shoot long range, but you don't know, we talked about that qualification part. You don't know exactly what to do and whatever. You can talk to somebody at Vortex who can tell you exactly how to build that rifle,
Right.
and fit your needs,
Oh.
and that. So that's really cool.
Yep.
You can't do that with other companies,
Huh.
So
I keep looking across the table at what the heck this thing is right here.
This
This
one?
Browning.
So that's a Browning Buckmark rifle. That's a semi-automatic 22. That was a gun that we had as a SHOT Show special this year. Has a muzzle brake on it, which is is pretty cool. But semi-automatic with a laminated stock.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome looking finish.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty sexy.
Is that the kind of
So-
gun they use on the Olympic sport? What is that thing? The triathlon or
No,
biathlon?
I know what
or
you're talking about.
Yeah, no.
It's
It
got
almost-
the same looking
It looks
grip
like
to
the
it.
same damn
Yeah,
thing.
most of those guys are in. Again, I can't speak with authority because I don't know exactly.
Right.
Most of those are all bolt action or a slide action.
Oh yeah,
style.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
a semi.
What is that sport?
Is it?
One of the
triathlon?
cross country.
Come on,
skiing,
Zach,
right?
you got to know.
I don't actually. I'm
You're
thinking
talking
of it
about-
because I know exactly what you're talking
It's all
about.
the cross
Biathlon.
Yeah, where they ski, they throw
Yeah,
the gun over
cross-country
there,
skiing,
and then
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
most of them have a little.
It's not
I think it's just
triathlon.
Olympic
I think it's
shooting.
biathlon.
No, it's not. It's a
No, it's-
fun.
We'll look it up.
Yeah, look it
Yeah,
up.
look it up.
Get
for
on your-
us.
But now here's my question for you: Is
Yeah.
what now is that only chambered? You said 22. Is
22 long rifle.
Does
Yep.
it cut? Do you guys have anything like that that's built in anything like
No.
that pistol caliber?
No,
Okay.
right now we do. Now we do make that in a pistol form in the Buckmark
Okay.
pistol handgun.
Thing's
Sure.
nuts.
Also 22
That's pretty
long
cool.
rifle.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So they're pretty popular.
I love the wood grain. Looks
The
awesome.
laminated look is really that's the cool thing. Gun
Oh, that's
manufacturers.
not actual wood.
It is.
Oh,
it is.
okay,
It's just
okay.
a sandwiched
Yeah,
laminate.
yeah. It's awesome.
The cool thing about it is when you look at beautiful pieces of wood like we've got here on that SX4 from Winchester, good quality wood like that is getting hard to find.
Right.
Okay, and it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So now they can take something with a multi-laminated wood and they can texture it and style it how they want,
Sorry.
and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you can make it affordable.
What's the purpose of this thing? Is it more target?
Target is probably the biggest thing, but I mean,
Because
put a
it's
great
fun.
Vortex.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, put a great
What
Vortex on.
what
it,
does
you can
Zach
shoot
say
all
always
kinds of stuff.
all the time? America, baby.
America.
Freedom.
Yeah, there
Freedom.
you go.
Freedom.
There you go.
Well,
Well,
that one's used for freedom. That one's used for freedom, and those two, freedom.
Freedom.
It's all freedom.
Those are freedom.
You know what I've
Absolutely.
noticed with I've been up front a lot just
Yeah.
playing with the guns because
Yes.
it's just awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The Winchester shotguns are so well balanced.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've held a lot of them up there.
Mhm.
When you go to pull them up, they just
They fit.
just sit right
Yeah.
there. They're just really well balanced.
Yeah.
They're a little heavier this way, but it just seems to there's what I've noticed, a lot of them are a little more
That-
weighted towards the back, and
Yeah.
these just kind of float right
Yeah.
up. It's just awesome.
That's a sexy looking gun.
but
Yeah.
try it.
So that's the
Yeah.
Winchester SX4.
Well, that's why I'm buying one, Brian.
And
no, but
yeah.
they just kind of float right
Yeah,
up
it
to your
does.
shoulder.
Right.
It's
There's
not
no-
heavy.
Right.
Like this one's heavy in my opinion. This
Okay.
Browning is. I don't know if you want to hold this one.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah, way heavier.
way
than that one.
heavier. And maybe it's the material it's made
Yeah,
out of. I don't
probably
know.
is.
Nick can
Yeah, and
maybe.
I'm not trying
Yeah.
to downgrade
No, no,
anything,
no,
but
no.
I'm just saying that it's
Yeah.
just
This is a
that
sexy
thing
looking
really
gun right here.
just kind of floats up to your shoulder real
Right.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a new SX4.
I don't know if that's
I probably wouldn't miss a lot with this gun.
or maybe you would.
tell Molly that's it. I'm trying to feed the family.
I know.
I'm trying to feed the family, honey. I got to buy a new gun.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the kids love turkey and.
I don't know if
pheasant
float
stuff.
up to the shoulder is the technical term, but it's just kind of what
Yeah.
it feels like. It just feels like it just
It just fits you naturally.
yeah. I don't know. It's,
Yeah.
and I've
So-
noticed that with all the Winchester shotguns that I've
Mhm.
played around with up there, they all
Sure.
have that same kind of feel to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they pack a lot of features into them for recoil reduction and just ease of use. With the SX4, they're oversized, and even on the Maxes too, on the Browning, they're oversized the operating handles,
Yeah.
so that
that's-
they assume you're going to be wearing gloves when you're shooting it. So
that's smart.
they make that stuff so it's very user friendly.
Yep.
That's
so
awesome.
Now,
yeah.
does this? what does this one come with that shim pad as well?
It doesn't come with it, but you can get it.
You can purchase
you
it.
can get those. Yep. Yep.
Now I was looking at it earlier. How the heck do you take these butt stocks off?
So in there, if you see, there's 2 holes right there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an access port, so you can get at the screws that
Makes sense.
that put the affix the recoil pad to the stock.
Are they usually like Phillips flathead?
Yeah,
or
they're
Allen?
going to be a Phillips.
Phillips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty easy to take that apart if you need to, or any good gunsmith.
I mean,
can
honestly, I
certainly-
didn't even know there was such a thing as a shim on a shotgun. I had no idea.
Sure. Yeah.
And it
So-
just which way does it shim it out or shim?
It depends on
left
there's
or right?
4 different shims that it would be either pivoting it this way or from on the bottom side to change the angle, and then also left or right for cast.
Huh.
So
That's awesome.
That is
I
pretty.
had no
awesome.
idea.
yep. So
Very cool.
but yeah, there's a lot, and when it comes to fitting shotguns, there again, that's a whole different deal, So, but the thing with as you guys are evolving as a gun shop now, you're going to find that there's so many different aspects to shooting, whether it be hunting, which
Yep.
we all do,
Yep.
target shooting
Yep.
for trap and skeet and sporting clays.
Which is a way bigger sport than I
Oh,
thought it was. I
amazing.
didn't even know.
Well, there's quite a few high schools in the area
Exactly.
that are getting
Well, the
into
high
it
school
as well.
for sure, but
Yeah.
even guys like the landlord of the building we rent here.
Yeah.
Never thought in a million years that him and his wife were shooters.
Sure.
Never in a million years.
Oh,
As
yeah.
soon as because I had to get permission to get guns in the building, right?
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, that's awesome." I'm like,
Yep.
"What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, that's all we do. We shoot every weekend. We
Sure.
drive all over the place
Oh, yeah.
to go shoot." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Really?"
It's
Never really knew it
amazing.
was a thing.
The high school trap thing, especially in eastern Wisconsin. Okay, the Fox Valley East, it is enormous.
Yes.
Okay,
Well-
it's growing as you go towards where I live in Wausau and in central Wisconsin. It's still growing, but here you've got high school trap teams everywhere.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
And
Winnick County has
Winnick
it,
County has
Yeah,
one.
sure.
I coach baseball,
So,
football. There's
okay.
70 kids on the trap team.
Yes. So now think about this.
70.
You as a
It's
coach,
the biggest sport in the school.
Yeah, you as a coach. Okay, when you see a player, you got to evaluate them. How do you evaluate them? You look at their
Right.
physical size and what have you. As a trap shooter, doesn't matter if you're a boy or girl.
Nope.
Doesn't matter if you stand 5'4" or 6'4". If you're 220 or 120, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay, and those kids, the trap shooting allows the kids of all sizes, boys, girls,
Yep.
whatever, to all be on the same team.
Yeah, and my nephew's
You know?
actually in that. He's a little smaller stature.
Yeah.
He's going to be a senior.
Sure.
Can't, at some point, high school sports turn into a size thing, right?
Of course,
If
yeah.
you're not 6'2", it's hard to play basketball unless you're a stud, baseball,
right.
football, that type
Yeah.
of deal.
Yeah.
And he's an awesome shot.
Sure.
And he's kind of evolved into one of the studs in the trap team now.
Yep. Yep.
Well, yeah.
And the cool thing now, I went down to in Sparta, Illinois. They have a national shoot down there, and called the Grand All American, and I am fortunate to get to work with the kids down there for the first week. It's a week of kids, and then it's a week of adults. Okay, and you would be blown away when you see these kids of all sizes again coming into the Browning building with their parents, and we have tryout guns that they can take
Okay.
out on the line
Oh,
and they
that's
can
awesome.
shoot them. And here you got these parents bringing little Johnny or little Susie in, and they've never picked up a $3,000 Browning over and under. And then you let them take it out in the range and shoot it, and just the glow that they have.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cool. But where I was going with that is that there are colleges out there, just like in every other sport, there are colleges that have free rides for these kids that can shoot.
Yeah.
So you think about it, if you've got a kid who maybe isn't a star basketball player or football player or whatever, but they can sure shoot the hell out of a shotgun, that's an opportunity for them to get a scholarship to college.
For high school age
Yeah.
kids, it's great to give everybody something they can kind of latch onto.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then it teaches them all the, discipline.
Oh, yeah. You bet.
Responsibility, all these types of things that,
Yes.
that a sport like
Oh,
trap
yeah.
will teach you.
Yes, you bet.
That's just awesome.
It is. It really is, and we're excited. Brownie is very excited to be involved with that, and I am too. I do. Oh shoot, I probably do 15 high school trap shoots a year from various dealers, And I've got a whole arsenal of guns. I'll go and the kids will come shoot my guns, and then hopefully they'll come to your store and buy them.
Right, for sure.
You know, that's kind of the thought process there. But it gives these kids and their parents an opportunity to shoot guns that they've never had a chance to shoot. They've been hunting with dad's, 870.
I was just gonna say
870 Express or whatever.
At Ducks Unlimited.
Exactly, and granted that's awesome. I mean, my son shoots back in Mosinee, and one of the top shooters is shooting an 870 Express.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a $200 shotgun, but boy, he shoots the hell out of it.
Yep.
And good for him.
Yep.
So it's
that's
something
really cool.
that that is a huge growth, and wherever you go in Wisconsin, wherever I go, that is the biggest growth category right now in firearms. It's not handguns, it's not ARs and tactical stuff. It's the kids in the high school trap shooting.
And like you said, the best part, it's not size dictated, it's not age dictated,
Right.
it's not
absolutely
gender. Can we say gender these days?
I think
it's
we
not
can.
gender
Yeah.
dictated.
Yeah, I think we can.
I don't know if it was gender or Zender or whatever it is now.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's not
Yeah.
dictated by anything.
Doesn't matter. Any walk of life can pick up a shotgun and go out to a trap range and shoot.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
again, it's
So-
just another reason that the outdoors in general is so much it can be so overlooked for a lot of people because like I talked about this on another episode where with bows, we sell a lot of bows to kids.
Yep.
And then mom and dad grab a bow later on because again, just like with shooting skeet and clays and all that kind of stuff, it's something that you could do together
Do it
with
as a
your
family.
kids.
Absolutely.
You don't have to sit in the stands and
Right.
watch them play another sport.
Right.
Grab the guns, grab the bows, grab a fishing pole, head
Yeah.
out on a weekend and just
Yep.
do it together. Is the
Exactly.
point. Don't
Yeah.
pull the damn phones out of their hands.
See, some people think that word together, it's like a 4-letter word.
Right.
You just we as a society don't do enough things together as a family.
Yep.
And people think of guns, and of course they have this negative connotation thanks to the media and whatnot. But these are tools that you can do to have that togetherness.
Yep.
You can go out and shoot.
Just the response. My biggest thing with my kid, the responsibility, like take ownership of your own.
Mhm.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guns forces that.
Yes.
Right.
Like it teaches that like day
Sure.
one. Like it's a huge responsibility to having that and
Yep.
everything that goes along with it. And I think that's a big part of what's missed in teaching kids nowadays. Is
Sure.
It's not somebody else's fault.
Right.
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 It's right.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't
you
point the
you
finger at
missed the
somebody
bird.
else.
You
Right.
didn't break that
Yes.
bird. That's on you.
It's
So
figure it out.
So how do we fix that? Well, and that's where you get into the training aspects of it and the coaching. But
that's awesome.
yeah, so it's definitely really a cool deal. And there's other aspects. I mean, there's people that are doing other competitive shooting. Whether it be with 22 long rifle or handgun shooting. There's a number of indoor handgun ranges popping up now.
Yeah, there is.
Again, it
and
doesn't
that,
have
so-
to be hunting related.
No, not at all.
Not at all. You could
Right.
purchase a gun and you can go out there and never ever shoot at an
Right.
animal. If
Absolutely.
you don't ever want to, that's perfectly fine because
Right.
there's plenty of clay pigeons out there that
Yep.
need to get busted up
That's
someplace
right.
or
Yep.
or like plinkster targets or any of that
Sure.
kind of stuff. That
Yeah. Lots of stuff like that.
I think you're exactly right. That is
Yep.
one of the biggest misconceptions with the outdoor industry and then the guns and bows as well. Is like I have to buy this because I have to hunt with it.
Right.
Nope.
Right.
That is luckily one of the privileges that could come later on if
Sure.
you choose to.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you have no choice, then
Well,
don't
and
ever.
How many people do you have that come in the store that are looking to buy a bow with absolutely zero intention of hunting? They're
lot.
going to
More than
they're
you
a
think.
target shooter. They're going to shoot
Yep.
3D, whatever.
Yep.
And I know in my store, when I had my store, I used to get that all the time.
Yep.
And it was fun to talk to those people because like you guys, we had deer heads all over the wall, and sometimes that was intimidating. But we were like, hey, you don't have to deer hunt with this. You can take it and shoot.
We have a
3D
lot of
and-
shooters that almost treat it like a bowling league.
Yes.
They just
Oh,
want
for
to
sure.
hang out, shoot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They find
Yep.
it more fun than bowling or
You bet.
whatever. And
Yeah,
Yep.
way more interactive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
because as any hunter or fisherman knows, the real work starts after the harvest.
Right. Yes, for sure.
It's a lot of times a
Right.
lot nicer to walk down to a target, pull the arrow
Yes.
out, and put it back in a
Well,
quiver, and that's
and-
it.
Yeah, you don't have 14 hours of skinning.
Skin-
Yes.
Yeah.
And well,
Yeah.
you think about it now. When you
It's
when you,
worth it, but
when you shoot a deer, or you shoot an elk, or whatever, you're done.
yep.
Right? It's not like we have multiples like with duck hunting and stuff like that. Of course, you can shoot multiples,
Yep.
right? But when you're talking big game, You get one tag and you're done,
And
then the work starts. And you're like,
Yep.
oh man, so.
And all that information is out there. You just got to do a little bit of work to find it. But it is so much more popular. Just the shooting sports in general are so much more popular than what people understand. I mean, there's websites out there. We get a lot of questions. Well, are there like 3D shoots going on?
Sure. Oh yeah.
And my brother is talking about it now. He's like, I got a little time. I think I want to get into a skeet league. Where do you go? I mean, he's like, he was talking to people, and he's finding out that I can go here, I can go there, I can go wherever you want.
There are so many
you
really
can
good
shoot 7
clubs.
nights a week if you wanted
Sure.
to.
Yeah, there's so many good clubs in central Wisconsin and the Fox River Valley and all over that have trap leagues and things like that. And it used to be the first time you go to a trap league, it was like you almost felt like not. What's the word? Just
Intimidated?
like yeah, because these guys
Like
been
the
here,
outsider.
well, exactly. It's a good old boys club, but that's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the clubs are much more inviting and warm and friendly and family friendly. It's not just the good old boys sitting around drinking beer and that kind of thing. It is a family focused event, and I do a number of shoots every year, and it's just it blows me away every time I see parents bringing their kids. I love it, and we obviously endorse that. So
I was just last weekend.
sorry,
I had a benefit hunt for St. Jude's, and it was
Yeah.
cool to see the kids there. Number one, we were hunting pheasants, so they got to see the birds, they got to see the dogs, and for me, this was the first time I've ever partook in it, where I actually got to see the whole or how everything works.
Yep.
I've been on pheasant hunts before, wild and pen raised birds, but this is that kind of stuff is a whole nother sport on its own.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's just my eyes are getting opened in 2019 here. There's so many other things that I've just not paid attention to that are worthwhile as well. So.
Well, good for you. That's awesome that you're experiencing that.
I was saying, in your experience, age-wise, what's a good age to get them started?
Well, depending on what you're looking at,
roughly, right? Every kid's different.
Yeah, every kid's
skeet
different.
shooting or what?
Yeah, just trap shooting.
Trap shooting. I mean, there are clubs that do have some of the kids 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
But the big thing is they have to be physically strong enough to pick up the gun.
Course, right.
We do make some lightweight 20 gauge models that they can pick up that are easier to do versus a full size 12 gauge.
Right.
Typically, if I had to just pick a number, I'd say 9, 10.
Okay, I was thinking 10.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know what.
Sometimes the little kids, when they're depending on the individual, they have to have that mindset of and the control factor.
Well, and every kid's different, and there's a focus thing there too, right? With kids.
Yeah. I mean, I've taught hunter safety for a number of years, and I can tell you honestly, I've had kids in my hunter safety class that are 12. They shouldn't be in
They're not ready
because
yet.
they're not ready. On the flip side
Well,
of that,
Nick, there's like 50-year-olds too
that
are not ready yet either.
For sure.
I mean, not just 50. Their age classes all over, but there's
Yeah, and then on the flip side, I've had 12-year-olds that'll be, you feel very comfortable handing them a firearm. They've obviously had some type of education and support from a parent or a grandparent, and that. And like anything, our kids, we have to get them involved in this. They're not just going to pick it up on their own. They have to have somebody to guide them to do what's right and what's wrong.
So going off of that though, where do you start? Like, I think I've burned myself 1 or 2 times by trying to have the kids shoot like a 20 gauge. Mm-hmm. And realistically, this is where a kid should start. Is on a 22, somewhere like that.
Sure. As far as plinking and just target shooting, there's nothing more fun than taking a 22 and go buy yourself a 12-pack of pop and just shoot interactive targets. And just, whether it be clay birds that blow up and things like that they get an instant gratification from. One of the most boring things, and in my opinion, and I'll state that, is that just putting a sheet of paper up and shooting at a piece of paper. To me, that's kind of boring.
It
I
started
like having
with
stuff that blows up and
Yes.
and moving targets. And the cool thing now is one of the GSM companies, Viking Solutions, has a lot of these gong targets.
Yes.
So ring and steel, making that thing bark back at you is a lot of fun. Now, a couple of weeks ago, a good friend of mine, he's got an extended family. You take my family and another good buddy's family, and we have a shoot together. I bring all my samples. We get a bunch of handguns, and we got 20 people shooting at his range, and we're shooting gong targets. We're shooting clay birds. We make a full day of it, it was a freaking hoot.
Yep.
You know, and it's an annual event we do now every
That's
year
awesome.
just for our families, you know.
Right.
The neighbors probably think World War III is going on.
Right.
But, you know, it's just a great time.
Yeah.
And there again, we do handgun shoots and we do the shotgun shoots, and then we step back and we do the rifle, you know, a 200-yard rifle shoot.
there
But
you
we're
go.
shooting all gongs.
Right.
You know, these big plates of steel. And it's just cool when you pull the trigger and you hear that bing, you know. It's just, you know, it just gives you
Hit!
instant gratification.
Hit!
Yeah.
Move her on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well, and that's what we talked about earlier with that camera thing. I mean, it is kind of boring.
shooting paper is
It's
boring.
necessity to sight the rifle in, but
Right.
after that, once that thing's
Right.
ready to go or your shotgun's
Yeah.
ready to go, let's blow some stuff up.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
right.
Tannerite's fun.
Yeah,
But
you can go there. That's the extreme. But
did you ever
yeah.
with that Tannerite? I should have found a video again this week. I messed up a bunch, but I saw one the other day. A guy blew up a freezer with Tannerite.
oh boy.
And luckily, he was standing behind a
Oh, I
tree
did
because
see
the
that.
freezer came whipping by him.
pieces
And like,
of it. Sure.
no, the whole
Like-
entire freezer.
Oh my.
Yeah, it just came right past his head.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
Like fast. I saw
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
video.
it was like
Yeah.
70 miles an hour.
Sure.
I'll
It
post
was
it to
moving.
Facebook,
Yeah.
the Facebook page here later today. But I was
Yeah.
like, holy man.
Yeah.
I'm pulling some stuff up with Tannerite. It's pretty cool, but
Yep.
yeah, you got to be safe.
Well, that's the whole thing. You know, obviously, you know, safety is you know, but we want you to have fun.
Yep.
You know, when you're pulling triggers, it should be fun.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
what we're doing it for.
Oh
So-
man, yeah,
Awesome.
lots of knowledge today too. As much as it was fun as well, but it's just tons and tons of knowledge. Oh shoot, it's 11 o'clock already.
Yeah.
I didn't open my
Time-
computer today,
Time
so
flies. So,
Yeah, I was looking.
but
That whole shim and the shotgun thing. That's a
yeah, and not all shotguns.
expanding experience for me.
Yeah, not all shotguns have that capability.
Well, it's definitely something
you know,
I'd ask
so,
for
Sure.
in
you
the
know.
future.
Well, now
Yeah.
that makes me wonder about the one I'm buying. Is like, does that have a shim kit? Or-
On the SXP, I don't believe it
No.
does.
Oh,
So, but,
jeez,
yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
How
See, I think
convenient,
that's fine, though.
Nick.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
one of those things, though. That would kind of be a deal breaker for me now, knowing that.
Right.
I just never knew.
Well, that was part of the process that I was talking to Mark. You know what? That the one I'm interested in has a fiber optic front bead, just
Yeah,
like this
sure.
one here.
Yep.
And I'm like, we were talking about, well, you got to shoot different loads and all that kind of stuff. Well, I said, well,
Right.
can't I just put something on the back here to help? And he's like, yeah, you can. But
Sure.
once you've gotten more in depth about that, now it's like, yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to buy multiple boxes of shotgun
Yep.
shells.
I would go there first, and don't get hung up on the shims. I mean, that's just,
Right.
It's something to help if you
He
have
should
a
probably
problem.
be hung up on.
Yeah.
yeah,
gonna need
right.
it.
You just wait. Your woods is not going to have a single turkey left this year.
I don't know if you're gonna get at him if the snow doesn't melt.
But no, it's you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, I love turkey hunting. You know, and I've shot him with the bow.
This guy here is
Oh,
going for
Zach's
his
gonna have
first
a-
time.
that's
this
gonna
year.
be awesome.
We're
Yeah.
what? Are we 2 weeks away?
We're like a week away.
A week away.
That's like next week already, isn't it?
Oh.
Are you doing it?
Yeah.
He's doing a learn to hunt.
Somebody scouting? I hope. You know,
Well,
are the
that's
birds
the
there?
thing. We got to get Brian to give us the GPS coordinates. he's
And a key to the gate, right?
he's keen to that's exactly right. I mean, we got some other spots, but
Yeah.
your property's never been turkey hunted before, right?
Well, maybe in the past, but not in the
Yeah.
8 years I've owned it.
See, the tough
and there
part
are
about
birds up there.
They come and go. It's really weird.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
there,
Right.
but
See-
I mean, it's the 300 I've got, and they're in the
Oh.
neighbors or
Yeah.
whatever.
See,
but
the tough part about turkey hunting, especially early in the season, and maybe Keith talked about this. I'm certainly not the expert he is, but the turkeys, they move.
Yep.
I mean, they move around a lot. So this
Food
this,
sources right now.
Well, yeah, this time of year, especially if you're in an area that you know has still got a lot of snow, there's no birds there.
right.
Where I live in Wausau, I can tell you right now the spot that we deer hunt, I will not have a turkey on that property until about 4th or 5th season.
yeah.
And it's because they haven't broken up and they haven't got spread out. So I've got a tag for the first season, and my deer hunting spots I can't go to.
Can't you kind of
You
in
know.
panic mode?
we'll have
Yeah,
to get out.
so-
Well, I might get up there this weekend. We'll do
Yeah.
another. I mean, I got stuck in the driveway last weekend with snow.
Sure.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But as soon as we can get out and get around, we'll have to get up there and.
You better open
Yeah.
that
See what
up.
you
Get
can
that
do.
big,
So that's-
get that big caterpillar up there. Open that driveway up.
That's the drawback to some of the early seasons
Yep.
that they have. And I get to learn to hunt, don't get me wrong. And the mentor hunts are awesome.
Yep.
But you got to make sure that you have birds on the property that you have access to
Yep.
hunt. And as I drive down in my territory and drive down, I'm seeing birds all over now.
Yeah, they're
They're out in the fields and whatnot, but they're in the fields that aren't covered in snow anymore.
that is
And granted, most of that snow
corn
is going away.
stubble, some alfalfa stubble
Yeah,
fields, or
yeah.
you know, that kind of stuff. But
So
we'll be all right.
yeah,
We'll be all right.
oh, it's awesome. It's I tell you what, there's nothing in this world. There's two things. I'm going to backtrack. Two things in this world that just get you going is a gobbler gobbling in the morning. Your eyes, I guarantee you, hear that first one, your eyes are going to go, holy crap. The other thing is hearing a bugling elk do the same thing.
Yep.
Like he said the same thing.
Yeah.
If you don't get excited, give it up. I mean, because that's, you know, it's got to be the equivalent in the fishing world of having a big bass or something like come and blow up on your bait, and you're like,
See, that's the thing with fishing is every hook set you just don't know,
Right.
Because you don't know based on the bite.
sure.
Every time you set that hook, it could be a 1 pounder, it could be a 10 pounder.
Yeah,
And
Or
that's-
it could be a sheephead.
Yeah, that would be that'd be me.
Right.
That'd be
No,
me.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
but you just
Yeah.
never
You
know.
never
Right.
know.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's the thing
Yeah.
with fishing
The
that I
unknown.
love. It's
Yeah.
every
Sure.
hook set's a whole new.
Oh yeah.
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 Oh,
It's
yeah.
a gamble.
Yep.
Right.
That's the best part about
Right.
it.
So
Except for
Anyway.
a lot of the
Awesome.
lakes out by me that are so clear that you can see those fish.
Maybe you still don't know on the hook set. Yeah, you can see if it's sight fishing.
You're right.
sure.
If
I'll
it
give you
is.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But if you're
Yeah.
throwing a crank or
Yeah.
you're fitting it, yep.
You never
I
know.
Oh, I totally
I
get
just,
it.
Yeah.
oh my God, now you got to tell me with fishing.
We
I know,
started
right?
up
I started
off-
perking up too.
Yeah.
I'm like sight
Yeah.
fishing.
Yeah.
I want to be able to see what I'm catching
I
because
think
I'm
Yeah.
sick
I'm
and tired of the
actually going
green
up
soup.
yeah.
I think I'm picking up my new boat today,
Oh yeah.
this afternoon.
Nice.
Yeah. It's not ready to go yet. I still got to
Yeah.
get it rigged, but
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
step closer.
Well, that brings up to a couple of important things here. So next week Tuesdays it starts a new schedule.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So
awesome.
Tuesday, Thursday, we're narrowing it down to 2 days a week,
Yep,
and we're
at
going
noon.
over the noon hour. So you know
Okay.
we're trying to listen. And I was thinking of this the other day, like slogans for the real shot.
Oh boy.
And I was thinking, like, you know,
You sure
we're
you
pretty
want-
good at this, but like, your voice matters because it does matter here. You know, we every all the feedback we've been getting,
Absolutely.
we're trying to make it work the best way we can. So we're going to Tuesday, Thursday, so we can
Yep.
produce more and better content. And then we're going to the noon hour. So hopefully, if you're on your lunch break, you get the chance to join. If you get
Well,
an
that
hour,
was by a lot of people asking. 10 o'clock's just kind of tough.
it's an
Yeah.
awkward time.
You know,
Sure.
hopefully over the noon hour, more people are eating lunch. It gives them
Sure.
a chance
Yep.
to watch it
Yep.
or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, the only other option would be early nights or late, and that's when we're going to be hunting and fishing.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and unfortunately, so that's not going
Zach
to
was
that.
trying to cut you off.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm trying to cut you off. I just wanted to add into that with the new schedule comes us streaming directly to
Yep.
TRSOutdoors.com, which allows you to close your phone while you're listening so that if you are at work, you can't watch it. You can actually close your phone out and still listen
You
in your
can
headphones.
listen
Perfect.
incognito.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well,
Really,
everybody-
boss? I'm working. Yeah.
Well,
look at me here.
everybody, if you go to Cubes in every office across wherever, they all got radios playing. And
Sure.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Yep.
And who
Cool.
doesn't want to listen to Matt over the lunch hour?
I don't want to listen to Matt over lunch hour.
Show hands, please.
So that starts next week Tuesday, and our first guests on that new schedule are Justin and Jessica Munt, who Justin works here. They're going to talk spring
does?
walleye fishing.
Awesome.
Well, he was out last night walleye fishing, so
Yeah.
He looked this morning like he had a hangover. From
I know.
walleye
Well, they
fishing.
said they were
all he
out-
did was fish last night. He came. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm so beat up and
yeah.
tired."
so that's pretty exciting. So that starts that new show, and then plus, I got off the phone yesterday with Adam Nickel of the Wisconsin DNR, and we're trying to line up a time frame where we can get on a shock boat.
Awesome.
Oh, that'd be
So
incredible.
he's
That'd be
super
cool.
stoked about it. He's
Yeah.
done it before, and this one we found out that we can literally get on the boat with them.
What body of water?
Well, this would be the Wolf.
Oh, that's awesome.
But he
man.
was saying that the Wolf is starting to get good here in the
Yep.
next couple weeks. So
Yep.
he said, unfortunately, when it's go time, it's go time. I said, as
Yep.
long as it's not a Tuesday or a Thursday, you let us know. We'll be out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, I think that the way that's going to roll is we're going to be on the boat. He loves to have information going out. So the way that's probably going to work, I tried to get him in the studio, and he said just with the chaos of the
Yeah, right.
schedule,
Yeah, tough
it'll be a
time.
little tough.
Maybe
Right.
after though.
But
After the
afterwards,
spawn, he might be
so
able
that's
to.
going to be one of those where we're going to film it first, and then we're going to, bring it back here. Zach's going to trim it, do some special work to it, just like you did with the Keith Beam blind one. But
Right.
that's also in the process as well. Plus, he said there's some northern pike netting that's going to be happening. We've talked to getting up into pier, getting some muskie netting, some muskie information, and all that kind of stuff. So we're definitely working on getting a lot more content coming
Absolutely.
your way.
Right.
So
Cool.
And on top of all that, right now we do have a giveaway going on right here at TRSOutdoors.com. So if you go up to the top, you can see that there's a giveaways tab. Click on there, and we are giving away an Omega Tackle
care package. That's got a lot of awesome jigs and spinners in there. So that's awesome. We got a ton of people actually already within the last day. We have let's see here. I think we've got over 447 total entries. So there's 18 days on that. So
Free
get
stuff.
over there, get signed up.
Right.
That is
Who
an
doesn't
awesome
like
program.
free stuff?
Exactly.
Right?
Free.
Oh yeah, and that's
It's a good 4-letter word.
Yeah, it is.
yeah. That's
Absolutely.
well, cool, Nick. Thank you so much
Guys,
again
thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was super informative, as well as you did a great job of capturing on the products, and I can't wait to have you back when we start talking the deer hunting stuff with the stealth cam, the the ozone type stuff. We'll definitely have you back in, but. I learned a lot. Sounds like Brian learned a lot on this one. Hopefully everybody that's watching this has learned a lot. And remember, if you have any questions, don't forget to leave them in the comments. Where like YouTube, TRS Outdoors, all that kind of stuff.
Send us a message on the Facebook page.
On the Facebook page, and then if you want to ask Nick personally, we can get that information from you.
Sure.
Otherwise, come see Mark and Steve in the store.
Like I said, Nick's here all the time.
He's here all the time. He's here all the time.
I don't have my own cubicle yet, but that's coming.
And then we'll get this information out, but this 8% back starts on Monday, right?
Yeah,
Is
April
Monday
1st.
the 1st?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day.
But that's no joke.
Yeah, no joke here. That's right. That's right. But
was
no, like I
bad.
say, you guys are doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
Watching the Real Shot evolve over the past number of years has been pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you've been around here since day one.
I have.
Yes.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the Oshkosh fishing store with a big tank and everything. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's like
You've been here since day one.
It
so
was
you've seen it
so-
all.
I have.
It's
awesome.
cool to take guests that have never been here before and walk them through the store. Like Keith on Wednesday was like, "Man, you guys don't fuck around." I'm sorry, but yes,
Hey, that's
FCC,
what-
yeah.
but it was. It was. He
Yeah.
literally walked
That
around.
was that was quote
he said
unquote.
it, he said it
Yeah.
like
He
6
did.
or 7 times.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to bleep that one,
Yeah.
Zach,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the replay.
There's
But
no
There's a
FC
delay,
well,
right?
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah.
I said it. I said the first F word on
There's
TRS.
there is no FCC online.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
But he did. He was
Yeah.
like, I said, I
We
go,
just
I
lost
wonder-
all those kids that we've been
I
trying
know,
to
I know.
Way to go.
Just
Way to
kidding.
go, man.
I know. I said freak. I said freak.
Yeah.
But my thought process is I go, what do some of these guys think when we invite them here?
Yeah.
That maybe we've only seen 1 or 2
Right.
episodes, and then we walk them through the store, and their minds is just got to be like,
They're blown.
yeah, this is a real deal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of like for us is here, it's like a bragging moment.
Yeah.
It
You
feels
know,
good.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it does.
It
It feels
does.
good.
You should be proud.
So-
I mean, really. Yeah.
I
So-
apologize. I take it
but-
back. Don't be
No.
mad at me.
Oh, it was the
But-
quote unquote. That's what he said.
It's quote unquote, right?
That's what he
A
said.
number of times he said it
And
too.
he would
sure.
be bashful about it.
No,
I don't
no,
think you should
no.
feel bad at all. That's
He-
exactly what he
Not
would have
at
said.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up, but that
Yeah.
dude is totally stoked to come back here.
Is he good?
He called me the same night, and he's like, "Where's this episode?" And I'm
You
like,
trying to
telling him where
find
to
it?
find it and everything like that. He's like, "All right." Plus, you guys spelt my name wrong, so
Yeah. Somebody had fast fingers. They switched the I and the E
Yep.
around. Yeah.
But he
So-
was stoked. So, and again, we appreciate it. Thank
Oh,
you so
thank you
much for
guys.
coming in today.
No,
and
anytime. I'd be more than happy to come back.
we'll have you back
Anytime you want me
plenty
back.
of times. This is
Yeah.
not the last time you're going to see Mr. Brantner. So
Cool.
again,
Awesome.
anybody have any questions? Come see us in the store. We got
Yep.
some awesome deals going on as well, and we'll see everybody here on
Tuesday.
Tuesday
Yeah.
at noon.
Awesome.
Be safe.
Thanks.